Okay, YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV. Now, today we're going to be looking at Jezero Crater, and this is the next target for the new rover, or the target for the new rover, which will be landing in February of next year. It's already on its way, as most of you should know already, and had a successful takeoff, and is already steaming towards the planet Mars, and will get there early next year. So I'm not going to go into all the details about the mission today. I'm just going to be concentrating on a few things that I found in the actual crater itself. If you want to look up at all the stuff here, I've got some different images, different pages here for you to check out. And there's a Wikipedia page here also, which gives you coordinates to look up on Google Earth, which are 18 north and 77 east. I've got Google Earth up here as well. I'll show you that in a minute. And we can measure some of these things that I've found. Now, is there anything in Jezero Crater, do you think, that may be unnatural? Well, I think there is, and I'm going to show you it now. So this is the main image. This is quite high resolution. It's not amazingly high, but it's good. And this is the one we're going to look at first. Now, the area where the rover is going to land is between these craters here. We've got like 3 craters and some little kind of mountainous structures here. And apparently it's going to land about here. But if it's anything like the Curiosity mission, it may go off course slightly if they've got their measurements wrong like they did last time. And they had it in feet instead of meters, or meters instead of feet or something. And they were slightly off. But even if they do go off course slightly, there's plenty of flat ground here for the rover to land on between these little craters here. The first thing I spotted was this. We have a crater with a very long, straight structure in it, which doesn't look natural. Okay, so I'll show you close-ups of this in a minute. We also have this rather odd thing here, which looks like a structure, and it really stands out against the background and all the other things here. And it's straight, it's straight this way, but also has what looks like an entrance here, right? And there's more of these. So that was interesting. I'll show you close-ups of that in a minute. Now, the other things that I spotted were right over here to the left-hand side. You've got this big fluvial deposit here, right? Which is really nice. And in some of the images, you've got some really nice views of this with lots of detail. But down here, we got this thing here. And then we have what look like 2 artificial dome or artificial structures, what I would call intelligent structures, like that long straight pipe thing in that crater I just showed you, and that other thing which looks a bit like a structure. We've got these, and this one is round with an entrance here, and this one is a more sort of random shape like that. I don't know if that's natural or not, but this one here really does not look natural, and much like the one over here, it seems to have an entrance like this. You can see this one has an entrance here. This dark shadow goes right into it. Okay, so these look like intelligent structures to me, and I'll show you close-ups of those in a minute. Also down here we've got some other interesting, what look like natural structures but are interesting anyway. I'm not saying these are artificial. We've got this E-shaped structure here, which is like an island, which is kind of hollowed out in the lake. This was a lake, obviously. So the water's gone in and eroded round inside the island and made this sort of E-shaped structure. Similar to some of the archipelagos that you see in the Pacific and the Indian Ocean, that kind of thing. Like an island, okay, which is really cool. I'll show you some close-ups of that in a minute. That's interesting. And then we have what I'm calling twin peaks here. We've got 2 mountainous structures together with like an outer rim of smaller structures going almost all the way around it, which is really nice. Now, I'm not saying this is artificial in any way. I'm just saying it's nice, okay, and it's interesting. This is just a brief introduction for those of you that don't know anything about Jezero Crater, just to give you a quick overview and some targets to keep an eye open for when we get better and more images of this area, which we will in coming months. We should get more satellite images, more close-ups, and of course when the rover actually lands in this area up here, which is where it's scheduled to land, up here somewhere, according to the blurb I've read, it's supposed to be landing about here, then we will get some lovely high-res 20 megapixel images from the ground showing the actual crater from the ground, from the rover. So I'm really hoping that this new camera will give us some really lovely, bright, crisp, clear pictures in focus, hopefully. But knowing the way that JPL operate, they will probably stick an orange filter on the camera and the pictures will look foggy and out of focus because they will probably have it permanently in landscape mode, which means that everything is in slightly soft focus. Okay, so we shall see. Hopefully the images will be really, really good, and I am really looking forward to it. Right, here's those two dome structures together. Now, this is what I first spotted when I downloaded the image, because these are really bright and look metallic, like some of the other structures, hundreds and thousands of structures that I've spotted and shown in previous videos in the northern hemisphere of Mars, near the melt, well, in the melt zone near the North Pole area. There are millions of these domes, and they're metallic looking. They're very bright and shiny and reflective, and they're often dome shaped like this. And this, I think, is about 180 feet wide. So it's approximately 200 feet, and this one's probably a bit over. I have measured this. I'll show you on Google Earth Mars in a minute, and I'll show you how big these things are. But they don't show it very well on there. But basically this one, we got a round structure, kind of round, with an entrance just there. It's absolutely insane. Now there's not a huge amount of detail here because the camera hasn't zoomed right in. But you can see that that does not look like just any old rock formation, and may well be an intelligent structure. I can't prove it yet. I would like to see better quality images of the area and check it out. So that to me looks like an artificial dome, and is approximately 180 to 200 feet across. Okay, so there's that. Now here's the Twin Peaks. We'll just have a quick look at those. These look natural, but just look really cool anyway, mainly because of what looks like a sort of defensive perimeter around it, which is really nice around the edge. And you've got some good detail in here. That was interesting. Then we have this one, which is right near where the rover is going to land. This is the other, what seems to be an intelligent structure, which is oval shaped with a very straight part on top, like that. And then we've got an entrance here. You could probably drive a car in there. This is huge. Let's go a bit brighter and let's see if we can make that entrance stand out a bit more. There we are, look. There's the entrance. Just there. Why would a natural rock formation have a perfectly straight entrance on the side of it like that? Why would it? Why would a natural structure do that? We've got this thing, that the E, which reminds me of a sort of logo almost, which is really cool. I would call it an island. I mean, it's just an interesting shape. I'm not saying this is artificial. It looks natural, and the water would have come in here and swirled round and eroded the inner parts. This may be a coral reef, potentially. We're in a lake bed, and this probably was a salt lake bed. I think it was, as far as I know. Now this does not look natural in any way. We have a perfectly straight, ruler straight structure in a crater which points due north, right? Absolutely due north as far as I can tell. This is perfectly straight, and if you go up to the edge of the thing here, you can see how straight that is. Up to this edge, look at that. Absolutely ruler straight. Let's have a look on Google Earth and we'll measure some of these things and see how big they are. Now, Jezero, I've marked it here with a house or base home base structure. Jezero Crater. Let's have a look at these things that I found and work out how big they are. Now, the two little domes don't barely show up on this image because this has been downgraded and there's a low quality image of the area, but you can just see them here. One here and one here. Let's have a look at how big those are. Give us a size, and then we've got this in feet. So the main one is, actually it's about 200 feet. Now, incidentally, that's the same size as most of the domes that I found on Mars. They're all around the sort of 200 feet mark. Some are 400, but most of them seem to comply to the 200 foot size. The domes and multiple structures that are seen in the northern hemisphere in the melt zone. Now that's interesting. Now let's go to this other one over here. In this one, it barely shows. It shows as just a blob, but that's it there. That's the other one. And we can't see any real detail of it here, but let's measure it anyway. This one's longer. This is 400. Approximately 400. And I really don't see how this perfectly straight pipe or structure, whatever it's supposed to be, I don't see how that can be completely natural. And there even seems to be a sort of shadow next to it, like another one just there. And it kind of comes off. There's some sort of detail coming out of the crater. What would that represent, I wonder? You can see a line here, and then it comes down like this. And we've actually got some detail just here. There's a sort of shadow going across it, and then it comes up like that. And there's another one there. What is going on there? So that's interesting. I don't know what it is exactly, but it doesn't look natural. So there we are. We have what look like intelligent structures in Jezero Crater. The new target for the next mission that's going to land on the surface of Mars. And as I usually say in my videos, an open mind is required when viewing images from other planets, because one day our very survival may depend on it. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll put some clips of some of the things I found in the other missions coming up in a minute, including Viking and Curiosity and Opportunity and Spirit. Okay, I've found evidence of life on Mars in all these missions so far, going right back to the 1970s. So I expect to find very similar things in this crater from this mission also. Why would it be different? Thanks for watching. I will see you soon.